Just when you thought the situation with the Acolyte could not get any worse, the folks at Lucasfilm step in it big time. It turns out it wasn't just Amandla Stenberg who was out there getting ready to slime fans and the vast majority of the public. Leslye Headland is joining in. And oh, by the way, folks, we think we have the common sense and the logic to figure out that all of this is being coordinated. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we are streaming to you from somewhere sunny USA and having a good time at it. Jonas J. Campbell, investigative reporter for That Park Place, joins us today. Jonas, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. Other than being one of the many people called reprehensible, which I think is everyone probably.
Everybody who watches a piece of material and decides, oh, this isn't up to par. They're awful people. They're terrible people for doing that. But Jonas, I want you to comment for a moment. And folks, as we get ready to talk about all of this, consider clicking the like button, help us out, send this out across the waves of YouTube, across the fruited plains. Jonas, talk for a moment about the disparity in the way that Disney is responding towards Amandla Stenberg and Leslye Headland versus the way that Lucasfilm treated Gina Carano just a short time ago.
Well, Disney has no response when it comes to Amandla Stenberg. It is only support at this point. They want Acolyte to succeed, and they don't seem to care how they are represented. And what is it the language that they're using in fighting against Gina Carano is that they choose how they have a First Amendment right in how they are represented in the public sphere.
So one might assume then, Jonas, that they appreciate what Amandla and Leslye Headland, former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, what they're doing to them in the public. But they did not appreciate Gina Carano saying, hey, let's be nice to each other.
That's right. That's right. Questioning what was allowed politically. Yeah.
Seems to me there's a psychosis inside the House of Mouse. Just a thought. Folks, we're to tell you, it looks to us like this is coordinated. Amandla Stenberg, of course, we put out a response video yesterday. It was a lot yesterday, I'll just tell you. Four pieces of content, plus member-exclusive content here on the channel, trying to keep up with Disney. We put out a response to her music video that she says she did in 3 days. Jonas, take a look at this from Stuttering Craig, our good friend who runs Side Scrollers. Fantastic account, fantastic platform. Folks, go subscribe to everything Stuttering Craig is involved in. Says, holy crap, she's literally claiming copyright on people reacting to her song. You have to be kidding me. And so this is any channel, apparently, that is critical. Now, we don't know about the ones that are positive, but the channels that are critical, that are playing any part of her song, are getting hit with copyright claims. Now, I don't know about copyright strikes yet. I don't know what's going on there. But, Jonas, here's why I think this is all orchestrated. I think it's all coordinated, and I'm allowed to think that. The idea that you made a song in 3 days as a response, and then you also magically were able to get the copyright in place for said song in 3 days. And, oh, by the way, do I think that Amandla Stenberg is sitting there at her computer striking and making claims on channels? No, I do not. I think that this is a company. So let's just review all of this. In 3 days, Amandla Stenberg is alleged to have created a song, traveled to a location that is often unsafe to do her recording. But she traveled there, did that in 3 days again, folks, managed to get a company set up or acquire a company to handle the copyright, managed to get a copyright, and has people in place to begin discerning which places are going to get those strikes/claims. Jonas, that stretches the reality that we might be able to believe. Is that fair?
Well, yeah, I would say that indicates some kind of coordinated action. This is not that somebody just decided to pour their heart into something and release it out on the internet. There's also, we've been told that, oh, we took the bait because we reacted to it. Like, no, we didn't. By the way, I don't think either of us have been copyright struck for our reactions to this.
No, because I knew it was a trap. So I was not going to play it.
Right. Why would we give them that opportunity to take us down? We reacted to the content of the song over on That Park Place, which is, I'm not trying to say that Craig did anything he shouldn't have done here. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm trying to say that we know that people who call us reprehensible for disliking a poorly made show. If it was a better show, by the way, I think they might have a case here. But this is some flat acting. This is some predictable, when not nonsensical, plotting in the show. It's really not the kind of show that you really need to put up as your, the greatest art that has ever existed. So everything about
Speaking
this
of-
is disingenuous.
Speaking of, Jonas, nice segue. ThatParkPlace.com has the article, folks. If you're not yet bookmarked That Park Place, what are you doing? Come on. The Acolyte showrunner, Leslye Headland, is sad that her most important piece of art is being dismantled. Says it's reductive to describe witches as lesbians. Now, Jonas, again, continuing on this thread. Yes, folks, we said it. Continuing on this thread of coordination, am I really, really going to buy into just how all of this is coincidental? That all of a sudden, Amandla Stenberg releases a song that is also copyrighted, that is also represented by some company out there striking and claiming on those copyrights, and she had time to do a music video in those 3 days. And Leslye Headland brings out her response in that same, let's call it 48-hour period. And can I say this? Amandla seems to be bringing it from the approach of everyone who dislikes this show is an ist, and Leslye is bringing it from the position of everybody who dislikes this show is an obe. It's like a two-pronged coordinated attempt here. Don't know that it is, but it reeks of it. Says Leslye Headland, the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein and the showrunner for Star Wars: The Acolyte, claimed she is sad because her show is being dismantled. Speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, Headland stated, "Honestly, I feel sad that people would think that if something were gay, that would be bad." Now, of course, that's a straw man argument. So no one is thinking that just because something is one thing that makes it this thing. It's not X equals Y. What's happening here is that they have laughed and joked and bragged and had a great time with the idea that this Star Wars show is a piece of propaganda rather than actual entertainment. She added, "It makes me feel sad that a bunch of people on the internet would somehow dismantle what I consider to be the most important piece of art that I've ever made." And you would feel that way if you covered your wife in green makeup and made her the star of your show to some degree. Is that, Jonas? This is not going to work, okay? I'm not even going to read the rest of the article because none of this does any service to Disney.
The only thing that I think is the saving grace for Acolyte is that the people who are hearing the discourse around the Acolyte, there are people who watch it and will consume anything. And forgive me, I'm going to paint people with a broad brush here. I think there are people who are predisposed to like anything that is Star Wars right now because it's part of their identity.
That's a very small number of people at this moment.
Right. It really is. And they're having a lot of fun trolling on the internet and defending the show. I also think that there's a little bit of a hiding spot here in that not many people are actually watching The Acolyte. So the people who are hearing about The Acolyte and latching onto this narrative are saying that, oh, well, they just don't like it for all these other reasons.
Can I just pause you for a moment, Jonas? Will you forgive me for interrupting? Because I want to highlight that point you just made. When you say that not many people are watching The Acolyte and therefore there's a hiding spot, what you just said is this show is already a failure. That's what that means. It's a failure.
I personally don't care about the ratings other than I would like to see some good Star Wars somewhere down the line. But at this point, you could slap the Star Wars name on just about anything live action and people would be interested on some level in what it is. But right now, I think this narrative, the Hollywood Reporter reporting on the fact that people don't like this show and they say why people don't like this show is more significant than anything that actually happens in the show itself.
Let me come back to that, Jonas, because you say that you can slap Star Wars on something and it will garner some degree of interest. Grace Randolph ran a poll on her social media account on X and was querying her fans, her followers, if they were interested in Star Wars. One would assume that Grace's followers are going to have a greater proclivity for accepting what's in Star Wars than, for example, those who might watch our channels. And yet more than 50% of Grace's responses were they didn't care about Star Wars. They don't care about anything else coming up from Star Wars. So, there's a number of people out there who they would be interested if you slap Star Wars on it, but that number is minuscule compared to what it was 10 years ago. And it's even smaller than what it was 15 years ago. The tsunami of support that Star Wars once enjoyed is over, I think. And I think that this is just sort of laughing at the self-immolation. This is sort of playing games with the rubble that you've created when we watch what Amandla and Leslye are doing. they're out there being the jesters over a fallen court. Am I wrong?
No, I agree. And I want to make sure that people understand when I say interest, I don't necessarily mean positive interest.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because it's becoming a laughing stock. Fair?
Right, right. If you find out what your ex-wife that's raising your children is up to, you might want to know what's going on, you know.
So, folks, here's what we're saying. Star Wars: The Acolyte. The coverage that continues on this is essentially mockery. I mean, we're watching this show. It's painfully bad. We're laughing at it. I mean, it's not good. It's really, really bad. It should not be on Lifetime. It should not be on the CW. It's really, really bad. And instead of them being worried about having created bad content, they're trying to be rude and cruel to those who would, speak out and say, I don't think this is very good, which is the vast majority of people. So that's not going to work. And then they're busy. They've busied themselves not with being successful, but with making copyright claims that seem to be based on songs with, shall we say, self-described histories we're having a hard time believing right now. And not because of the quality of the song. That we could believe. If it was just the quality of the song, we could believe it was made in 3 days. But anyway, we don't want to be too rude here. Jonas, is there anything else that I've left out here? I mean, we've got the Gina Carano lawsuit. This could get worse. Gina, it could go to discovery. We could find out how Leslye Headland was potentially involved in financing the takedown of Gina Carano. I mean, this could get really ugly really fast. We don't know what's going to happen with the O'Keefe Disney tapes. I have noticed, and we'll talk about this soon, not today, folks, but I have noticed that none of the major news outlets are covering that. And I think that's interesting because they would have tremendous viewership if they covered it. So it makes you wonder why they're choosing to stay on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. But Jonas, where do you think all this goes eventually over the next year or so, and specifically in regards to Gina?
Well, I'm going to say that in regards to Gina, well, there is one aspect of the song that we didn't talk about, and that is the fact that she is calling for the news to cover this and calling everyone who dislikes her or reacted to the clip from Trevor Noah as spouting disinformation, which is fascinating because it's not even that big of disinformation. She was talking about a different show when she said that she made something in order to make white people cry. And she laughed and she said, no, they were supposed to cry with empathy. Okay, sure. But she literally called for journalists to take up the cause of defending her. And here we are. Journalists are taking up the cause of defending her. So with the Gina Carano situation, I see Disney saying that one form of political speech is okay and another form of political speech is not okay. Both of them, well, actually, no, the Gina Carano one was saying, hey, this is where we don't want to go in society. And this stuff from Amandla Stenberg is, I would say it's the kind of thing that dehumanizes people on the opposite end, which is, I think, more dangerous because everyone agrees they don't want to be the kind of people that Gina Carano describes. And Amandla Stenberg is saying, no, you all are the kind of people that she's describing.
That's right. And I would also say that there's a huge disparity in the level of oppression here. Oppression, folks. Amandla Stenberg, she is claiming that she's being oppressed and she's being targeted. She has all the institutional power. She's making music videos with security guards. She has the copyright power. She has the backing of Kathleen Kennedy, Lucasfilm, Disney. Gina Carano, on the other hand, had to hide in her house for many days because of mobs that were outside of her home because she was treated so poorly by Disney publicly without any forewarning. So that's the difference in the oppressions that we see. Folks, we also want to give... Go ahead, Jonas.
If I could just throw this in here. As far as her performance in the show, I think everyone's like, well, it's a little flat. No. All of the reaction to her seems to be her political speech outside of the show.
Yeah. I mean, she's just meh in the show. Lee Jung-jae is the best thing in the show. She's probably the second best thing in the show. And after that, it's terrible. It's just terrible. But anyway, I want to give a reminder to everybody out there. We've had quite a few people, I think, who watch our content, who are, hop in at times. And they've been listening to these things that are said about them in songs such as this, and they take it to heart. And I just want to remind people, and it's a shame that I have to do this in this day and age, but want to remind you that regardless of your skin color, regardless of your ancestors, regardless of your socioeconomic status, you're really valuable. You're a really important person. You are infinitely valuable and worthy of respect and kindness. And please do the same to all others. Do not fall for this insidious, evil tribalism that I despise. Be kind to everybody, no matter how they may appear. Be kind to everybody, no matter if they're the kind of people you would typically associate with. That's how you make this world a better place. So do not be like what we are seeing come out of the Walt Disney Company. It's reprehensible, it's terrible, and it should be shunned and condemned. All right, folks, you can help us not condemn this video by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts. And Jonas J. Campbell is over on That Park Place, the YouTube channel. You should be checking that out for more coverage of the Acolyte and everything else Disney, including the James O'Keefe Disney tapes. Live, continuous coverage of that every time we get breaking news. All right, folks, we're going to see you real soon. In the meantime, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
You better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio 24/7. Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro's music channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube, one of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga.
He's Jose.
That one seems a little bit foreign to you.